Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session on the College of Engineering's Bioengineering program. We're delighted to have you join us. We will be getting started in 2 minutes as we allow others to join. And while others are joining us, I am going to begin today's session. Good morning, good evening, depending on where in the world you're joining us from. My name is Kelly Igorova. I'm the Assistant Dean of Graduate Admissions here in the College of Engineering. I'm joined today by three of my colleagues in the Department of Bioengineering. We have Professor Chiara Bellini, we have Professor Samuel Chung, and we have the Academic Operations Manager, Caroline, I hope I got your title right, Caroline Pridmore. The overview today will start high level with the College of Engineering. You'll have an opportunity to hear deeply from within the department on some of the exciting research and opportunities afforded for our master's and our PhD students, as well as general best practices when applying to the Department of Bioengineering. We'll then finish up with a little bit of the roadmap for students, whether you are a prospective student or an admitted student joining us for spring or fall 2025. And finally, we'll close out with a Q&A session where you'll have an opportunity to ask the faculty and the staff some important questions that you may have as you consider joining us at Northeastern as part of your graduate education. Today's session will be approximately 45 minutes, and we are so delighted again to have you join us. Northeastern University is a top-ranked R1 research and experiential university. We're ranked #1 in co-ops in the nation, and we have one of the oldest co-op programs in existence within the United States. Northeastern is comprised of 10 colleges, with the College of Engineering being one of the largest at the university. As a university, we have 50,000 students spread over the global campus network, from London to California, Canada, all the way to the Miami area. We truly are expanding across the globe, and it's exciting to see students join us from all corners of the globe. The university brings in $282 million of external awards, and much of that comes within the College of Engineering. As mentioned, we are located in Boston, but we're part of a global university system with over 13 campuses. The Department of Bioengineering is based here in Boston, where they're housed within multiple buildings across campus, although primarily within the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering Complex. And I believe that we have a beautiful image of the ISEC building. If you haven't seen it, it is one of our newer buildings on campus with incredible BL2 wet lab facilities. We have our faculty research offices, and really an opportunity for students within bioengineering to immerse themselves within the department, but also to interact with colleagues in fields like the Department of Chemical Engineering. We have individuals from the College of Science, CSSH, Corey. It really is an interdisciplinary unit. We also have our PhD program, which is offered at our prestigious Rue campus in Portland, Maine, where the program is overseen by several key and global faculty, movers and shakers of the bioengineering world, including one of the grandfathers themselves of computational engineering and design. So I do hope that you have an opportunity, if you're interested in the PhD, to explore a little bit about the PhD bioengineering opportunities in Portland, Maine. Our dean says that good engineers solve problems. Caroline, can we hit the little arrow? Great engineers solve important problems, and transformative engineers discover and solve important problems. Here at Northeastern University, we are dedicated to building transformative engineers. This is at the core of your research that you perform within the Department of Bioengineering. It also is within the experiential learning opportunities that our students are afforded at both the master's and the PhD level. And it is within all of your interactions, be it the career services department, with our co-op faculty, with our industry leaders, and all of the other interactions that you have through student organizations, sports, networking, etc. So within the College of Engineering, we have 6 departments. There's bioengineering, chemical engineering, mechanical and industrial engineering, civil and environmental, electrical and computer, as well as our multidisciplinary graduate education. The first 5 are disciplinary programs, meaning that they are focused on preparing students to either go into a continued PhD program or within industry. Multidisciplinary graduate education is more focused on preparing students to go directly into industry. So whatever your path is in life, whether you're interested in remaining in academics or going into industry, the Department of Bioengineering, and you'll hear from our faculty themselves, have designed tracks that allow you to pursue the path that's best for you. The college has an enrollment of over 10,000 students within the student body, and unusual to a university, more than double are actually our graduate students. Often a university will have a larger undergraduate population than they do a master's and PhD. Northeastern University is very dedicated to having a prominent and a robust master's and a PhD program. We offer degrees from the bachelor's to the PhD. And we have an opportunity for our students to pursue a certificate as part of your master's or your PhD, where you can double count your courses in order to have both depth and breadth within your academic journey. We're ranked number 38 as one of the best engineering graduate schools in the United States, and we continue to climb in the rankings each year. Next. And with that, I will hand it over to my colleagues in the Department of Bioengineering.
All right, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Kelly, for this wonderful introduction to the university. We have already been introduced, but just to reiterate, my name is Chiara Bellini. I'm an associate professor of bioengineering. I've been at Northeastern for more than 8 years, and I'm the current associate chair for research and PhD program. And then, Sam, do you want to introduce yourself again?
Sure, I'm Professor Chung. I've been here for 7 years. I've lost count at this point. 7 years. Originally come from Chicago via LA, Philly, and then Boston. So I've been here since 2002. So 22 years in Boston. And I'm the MS contact.
Great. Well, I just wanted to mention that our department chair is not joining the call today, but Abram Joy, and another name to keep in mind as part of department leadership.
And my name is Caroline Pridmore. I'm the Academic Operations Manager. I've been with the department for 3 years, almost to the day. And I support the faculty with all the academic programs and work very closely with our students, in particular our graduate students, on helping navigate our graduate programs. And highlighting on this page as well is our Senior Business Manager, Esther Cohen, who supports, I would say, everything that happens in the department. And also one of our graduate ambassadors, who is a current PhD candidate, Stephanie DeFranzo. We'll talk about how to reach out to our graduate ambassadors later on in this presentation, but she is one of the people that would be getting back to you if you do reach out. And so with that, we're going to show you a little video.
I'm Abraham Joy, and I'm the chair of the Department of Bioengineering at Northeastern University. It's a great privilege to lead the department at this critical time. I'm following in the footsteps of Professor Lee Makowski, who led the department over the first 10 years. He, along with other senior colleagues, envisioned this department and built it up from the ground up. My training and background spans the spectrum from physical organic chemistry to biomaterials and tissue engineering. This diverse background has allowed me to see the opportunities and impact of interdisciplinary research And it is this vision that I intend to bring to the leadership at Bioengineering. Now, in the next decade, it's my responsibility to lead this department to become a premier institution at the cutting edge of research and education.
At Northeastern, the curriculum provided me with a strong foundation in biomechanics, computer science, and engineering principles. Through hands-on projects, co-ops, and research opportunities, I not only cemented my passion for assistive technology, but gained valuable experience in designing and developing innovative technologies. During my master's degree, I decided to develop a thesis. With Professor Chiara Bellini, we decided to try to develop a finger-spelling robotic hand that would allow deafblind people to have independent access to tactile signing from their homes. Developing prototypes in the Bioe makerspace and collaborating with the Institute for Experiential Robotics, we saw our research had the potential to transform communication options for this historically underserved community.
At Northeastern, I've developed a bioinformatics algorithm that analyzes single-cell gene expression data to understand tissue regeneration. My research has been supported by prestigious awards like the Barry Goldwater Scholarship, and I've had the opportunity to advance precision medicine through other collaborative projects and internships. My plan after graduating with a bachelor's in bioengineering is to pursue a PhD in computational biology to further explore the fields of genomics.
As a recipient of the Harold Hodgkinson Achievement Award, I focused on using biomedical innovation to better understand disease and improve healthcare access. My research on Alzheimer's disease at Harvard Medical School and work with the student organization Health have prepared me to make significant contributions in the medical field. This fall, I'll begin medical school at the University of Pennsylvania, where I'll be able to pursue my goal of improving healthcare delivery through medical research and patient-centered care as a practicing physician.
My research at Northeastern explored the impact of chronic disease conditions associated with aging, smoking, or vaping on the cardiovascular system. I was very excited about understanding the connections between macro scale change that occurs in a tissue and how that relates to changes to the cells that reside in that tissue. Through this work, we discovered novel links between aortic tissue biomechanics and various cellular and molecular changes implicated with disease. With several first author publications and recognition from the National Science Foundation, I've since moved to the biotechnology industry, where I contribute to the development of novel therapeutic technologies that will advance the standard of care for various diseases. I believe that every disease is treatable, and my career goal is to bring real relief to patient populations and their families through advances in medicine.
My vision is that over the next decade, the bioengineering department will become the program where challenging scientific problems are addressed through collaborative research and through experiential training of the next generation of scientists.
All right, so just continuing on from Kelly's snapshot of where we're located on campus, on the right here is an image of the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering Complex, where bioengineering is predominantly based. It is a gorgeous building. We are very lucky to be based there and to walk into this building every day. We are right next to Boston South End and Back Bay neighborhoods near Fenway Park. And so its location in the city is lovely. It's a great place to be a student, great place to work as well from our perspective. And you can see on the right, so all of these glass walls up there, those are all our lab spaces. And then on the other side, all the offices are nestled in between. And going on from our co-op position in the rankings, which it's our unique selling point. We are known for it. Where we're located also is absolutely outstanding for our students to learn from all of the industry partners that we have. Because of our co-op program, because of our amazing research that our faculty do, we have connections with so many biotech, pharmacy, hospital, all of these places in the city. And it means that your experiential learning is really, it cannot be beaten. It's incredible that what you can learn from the environment that you're in when you do your program with us in Boston and at the Ruhr Institute for your PhD program as well, taking advantage of the connections that our faculty have up in Portland, Maine. So just a few additional statistics about our co-op hires. For academic year 2024, we had 3,274 total co-op hires. That number is growing in terms of our graduate students taking advantage of these co-op opportunities. We have almost 2,500 employer partners as well. across 23 countries and 43 states. So that network of our co-op programs is amazing and growing every day. Our student support is also something we are very proud of at Northeastern. There is an office to help you with anything that you need on your program. So if that's how to do a co-op, how to apply for your program, professional development. For international students, we have a dedicated Office of Global Support to walk you through all of the various things you need to consider as an international student. Student services for academic advising and whole student holistic support. Global Student Success Office and career design and employer engagement, just to make sure that you have support for every facet of your program. And something very close to our hearts in bioengineering is our Graduate Student Council, who they are really such a valuable part of our program and our community. They really value uplifting student voice, and as a department we really value uplifting student voice, and so they work very hard on community building both in the department and in the college and the greater university. Our students also sit on the PhD Student Council, so they are bringing what's important to us from the department all through the college. There's a student Slack that you can get in touch with your fellow students just about day-to-day things, kind of getting advice on whatever, your senior students have experienced as a new student on the program. There are town halls where our faculty listen to any and all things on our students' mind in terms of program feedback. And our mentorship program is also outstanding, and that's for first-year students, but also for students as they undertake key milestones like their qualifying exams and their first research presentations, to help to get peer support all the way through the program. And with that, I will hand over to Chiara to talk about the PhD program.
Thank you. So if what Caroline has described so far hasn't yet convinced you to apply to the Bioengineering Department PhD program at Northeastern University, I'm going to give you another few reasons. Our department, as you have seen in the video, is 10 years old, and really we have done a conscious effort to develop a curriculum that brings a core curriculum in bioengineering science, but it also allows you to take a flexible selection, a number of electives that are really tailored to your research. And so the goal is for students to be exposed to engineering, medicine, and biology. And we are able to do that because we can build upon this strength in multiple areas of bioengineering that are in our department, thanks to the interdisciplinary faculty that we have hired over the years. So PhD requirements, it really varies depending on whether you're coming in with an undergrad degree or a Master of Science or Master of Engineering in a related field. For those of you who wish to begin their PhD program directly from an undergrad degree, then our requirements are 32 credits. Within COE, our classes are 4 semester-hour credits, and so that comes down to approximately 8 courses. There are 3 core courses that everybody is asked to take. Principle Bioengineering, this is our core building course where not only you develop relationship with all your first year colleagues, but also learn how to or practice how to write a paper, make a figure, write a proposal, read scientific literature. Then the other 2 courses are medical physiology and math methods in bioengineering. Then there are 8 semester hours, so approximately 2 courses of restricted technical elective, and those will depend on the research area that you will be selecting at the time of your application. And then there are 12 semester hour of unrestricted technical elective. This is a large master list of electives, not only from bioengineering, but other College of Engineering departments, as well as any other department in the university that offers a course that really matters and it's important for your research. If you come in with a Master of Science or a Master of Engineering degree in a related field, then your requirements are cut down to 16 credits. The core courses are Principal Bioengineering Math Methods, and then you have to take just another couple of courses as technical electives. All our students, regardless of what is their final degree when they join the department as PhD students, have to take seminar, which are those where we invite external speakers to come and give us an overview of their research. Those are usually on Wednesday at lunchtime. And we provide coffee and pastries. Then student seminar, you are required to practice with your peers and faculty in the department during your second and fourth year. Those are on Fridays, and those are pizza seminars. And then finally, you have to go through all the milestones for your dissertation. They start with the qualifying exam, the proposal defense, and then finally your dissertation defense. Average graduation or time to graduation for our PhD students is 5 years. As I mentioned, we have hired over the years a team of very interdisciplinary faculty that reflects the interdisciplinarity that's inherent in the bioengineering field. We have created 4 research areas. Those will not appear on your degree, is just for the purpose of finding or suggesting courses and facilitating the matching with faculty. These research areas are biomedical devices and bioimaging, and Professor Chung here is part of that research area. Biomechanics and mechanobiology, that's me, and others, obviously. Molecular cell and tissue engineering, system synthetic and computational bioengineering. We're hoping to add a 5th research area by next year that is leveraging the strength in artificial intelligence and for precision medicine at the Portland campus. And so again, these are non-binding for your degree, but they help with tailoring your courses. And this is our most up-to-date research map, where you can see all our research area with all the faculty that is involved in each of them. And again, because we are because bioengineering is such an interdisciplinary field, you can see that several faculty have their name listed under different research areas. And again, if I had to pick, I probably could pick all of them, because I use tools from all these research areas. And just to reiterate one more, we're trying to introduce this 5th research area that is specific to the Portland campus, where the Root Institute is. These will be focused on artificial intelligence for healthcare applications, and will have a entrepreneurial flavor that is possible because of the connection within the local hospitals and other nonprofit organizations. So please check out their website as well. And I'll pass it to Sam for the master program.
Thank you. Just for those people who are coming in late, I'm Professor Chung. I've been here for 7 years, and I'm the program contact for the master's degree. And so the first slide here is talking about why pursue a master's degree with us at Northeastern University. And this degree is very much a degree that can advance your career, not only by engaging in the research that we do here in our department, but also connecting with people in industry and as well at other schools. So the Boston area, as mentioned before, is a fantastic hub for industry. It's also a fantastic hub for academia as well. So brand name institutions, including Northeastern, just throughout the city. It's sort of focusing in different areas of research, different areas of study. And so it's a great area to be in for many, many reasons. And a lot of our students go on to pioneer progress. They sort of lead the way in terms of developing technologies, developing solutions for many, many problems that we have out there. And then the last reason potentially is a master's to PhD plan. And this is a fantastic way to get your foot into the door and to see whether the PhD might be a direction you want to go in. So my very first master's student ended up pursuing a PhD with me and is now graduated and is now doing a postdoc with the intention of going to a faculty position in the future. Next slide. Sorry, I've got a little bit of allergies today. So the MS degree requirements, similar to the PhD, there's 32 credits required. As Professor Bellini mentioned, in general, these classes are about 4 credit hours, so about 8 credits, 8 courses total for the degree, minimum GPA of 3.0. There are 2 core classes, similar principles of bioengineering class to what Professor Bellini mentioned, and then also medical physiology also. And so those 2 core courses are going to put you, sort of lay the foundation for you for the rest of your master's time at Northeastern. Again, we have the same 4 concentrations as Professor Bellini mentioned, biomechanics and mechanobiology, biomedical devices and bioimaging, the molecular cell and tissue engineering, and then the systems, synthetic, and computational bioengineering. And so there are 2 or 3 required courses for each concentration, in addition to those core courses that are required. And those required courses are going to, again, lay the foundation for future courses that you're going to take that are your electives as well. There are 3 options for the MS degree. One of them is to just do coursework exclusively. The second is to do coursework plus a project. The project is, as I mentioned in a minute, is going to be 1 semester. And then the last option is a coursework plus a project and a thesis. So that'll be 2 semesters total. Next slide. So for the MS project, it's a great way to get involved in research, just to get your feet wet and to see whether research might be a direction that you want to head in. The project, you're going to find an advisor. And often this happens at the Principles of Bioengineering course because the faculty come in and I think typically 2 or 3 per day, per class will give a short presentation on their own research. And if you're interested in their research, you can reach out to them and to see if they might have an opening for you to do a project or a thesis with them. And so you can connect with faculty that way through the Principles of Bioengineering course. And you can also connect with them at seminars, research seminars. You can connect with them at their student seminars also, or even just at the department social events like coffee hours, for instance. The MS project is meant to be completed in 1 semester, so it's a single course worth 4 credits. And what you're going to do there is just connect with your project advisor and come up with a good plan so you can complete a defined project within 1 semester. And at the end of that 1 semester, you will write a project report. Often you'll also give a presentation, which is not really mentioned here, but that's something that you and your advisor can figure out if that's part of your requirement there. And then that report will be submitted to your advisor for their formal approval, and that will complete your project for the semester. Next slide. So the project and thesis is sort of the project on the next level. So the first semester is the project formally. So you can see that on the second bullet point there. First semester is the project, and then the second semester is the thesis part of that. And so this is similar to the project where you would find a thesis advisor, and in this case, you would first sign on to do a project, and then you would determine whether you want to continue on for the thesis as well at near the end of your project. And the goal here is to have a much more weighty document at the end, a formal thesis, which you would then submit to not only your advisor, but also a thesis committee that you and your advisor are going to put together. And then at the end of that, you would also defend your thesis in a public forum. So you would have a formal presentation. Generally, it's open to the public, and you and your friends and other collaborators perhaps will come to this thesis, and then you would discuss your findings and talk about what you found during your 2 semesters with your advisor. So that's the project plus the thesis together. We also have flexibility for a 1-year master's plan. Generally, most students take 2 years for their master's, but you can strategically select courses and complete your entire master's in 1 year. If you're interested, you can click on, you can take a picture of this QR code to learn more about that. It will require a heavier class load, but some students prefer to do this, especially if they're coming straight out of undergrad where they're taking a lot of courses to begin with. Next slide. A couple comments from our alumni. The first comment, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just details the flexibility in our program. And so one thing to keep in mind as you're moving on to master's and PhD, these programs are much more individualized than the undergrad programs are. And so there's quite a bit more flexibility in the program, allowing you to take courses that you think are helpful for your future career. So if you have a particular direction you want to head in, you can take courses that will help you move in that direction. At the same time, we do want to make sure that your program, 1, is rigorous, 2 is engineering focused, and 3 is specifically bioengineering focused. So as long as you can maintain those requirements, there's quite a bit of flexibility for you to take a few other courses in neighboring areas that might be helpful for your future career. The second comment talks about accessibility, and the faculty really put a lot of time into making sure that your courses are at the right level for people in your position. And so they're going to help you move from sort of an undergraduate-centric focus to the higher level where you can be more prepared professionally for your future. And so we spend a lot of time thinking through how to design courses, what level we make them, and then to help you move on and to grow in your career. And the last comment mentions additional activities, research activities, seminars, peripheral support activities that we get from the Graduate Student Council and also from the Communications Laboratory. And these are very helpful activities. They're peripheral, but they can be very, very helpful in helping you to develop your communication skills and helping you develop interests, showing you what's out there in terms of the research that's happening, both at our university as well as worldwide too. So that's another part of our department that master's students very much like to get involved with.
Right.
So back over to Caroline now.
Yeah. So I mentioned our graduate ambassadors earlier on. If you have not already, I really recommend interacting with our graduate ambassadors. You can do that in a number of ways through the ambassador website, on social media. And there is a student inquiry form on the COE admissions page, and you can email directly as well. Graduate ambassadors are great contacts to get some information about department and program specifics, the student experience and perspective specifically because they are active students on our programs, so can tell you exactly what it is like. They can help with coursework questions, but also relocating to any of our campuses in terms of how to find housing, how to interact, things to take advantage of during your time at Northeastern. Please note that our ambassadors cannot help with application eligibility, admissions decisions, troubleshooting course registration, international student processing, or any other IT issues or application-specific questions. They really are there to help with what it is like on the program. For any of these questions, you should reach out to the admissions team or a member of the department to help you. And at this time, I also just want to highlight some of our student clubs. There are many, many, many student clubs across the university. Some of them are engineering specific, some of them are identity specific, some of them are both. But a few that I wanted to highlight that are active is the Alliance for Diversity in Science and Engineering, the Graduate Women in Science and Engineering group, the NU Com Lab, which Professor Chung mentioned a moment ago, which is peer-to-peer coaching and workshops where you are matched with someone else in your discipline to help you with your scientific communication and public speaking. And a new one, the Society for Biomaterials. We just had a recent conference hosted at Northeastern very recently. And there are just so many more to take advantage of. So there's really great opportunities for you to enrich your experience here beyond just your classes. And as we conclude, I also want to direct you to our social media, our Instagram, our X, LinkedIn, YouTube, where you can find a lot of information about the current activity, about research, about student activities, all of those exciting things that make our department unique. So please take a look if you haven't already. And at this time, I'll hand back over to Kelly to talk about next steps.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Caroline. So for those of you who have been accepted, congratulations on your admission. We are so looking forward to welcoming you to the Graduate School of Engineering. And Caroline, may we just advance slide? Thank you. Here we have a roadmap that has been designed by our wonderful graduate ambassadors that Caroline has mentioned. If you have not yet done so, please be sure to confirm your enrollment by paying your enrollment deposit fee, which will allow you to activate your My Northeastern and your Husky email accounts. These accounts will be used for primary communication from the university, although you should continue to monitor the personal email that you have applied with, as some emails do continue to go there. You'll want to start your university health and counseling report and begin applying for the I-20 if you are an international student joining us on an F1 visa. Our graduate ambassadors will host WhatsApp groups specific to bioengineering students so that you can find housing with your colleagues in the Department of Bioengineering, other MS and PhD students who are joining you. And we have a collaboration with the Department of Off-Campus Housing such that there's a published list of landlords in the Boston and the Portland area who have been vetted and approved, as well as best practices to avoid any scams, etc., as you're joining us potentially from outside of Boston or Portland. Orientation and course registration information will be sent later in the semester for students joining us for spring 2025. And for students joining us for fall 2025, you will receive that in the summer of 2025. Once you arrive, if you are an international student, you'll want to check in with the Office of Global Services. You'll receive information on their orientation. And as I mentioned, course registration, etc., will all be sent later. And we hope that if you're joining us for spring, you've already booked your travel plans, your flights, your trains, your cars, whichever mode of transportation, or if you're coming and joining us local from the Boston or the Portland area, that you're excited for your move. For prospective students, we are accepting applications through December 1st for students who are domestic. So if you are a U.S. citizen, green card holder, or permanent resident, you still have time to apply for spring 2025. For international students applying to the United States, campuses from outside of the U.S., the deadline has passed for spring, but applications are now open for fall 2025. Our PhD applications are due December 1st, and although we do accept PhD applications through June, we generally advise students to make it by that December 1st deadline, as that is when the department will give priority for PhD applications. We have a number of faculty who have funding that is dependent on PhD students joining us, especially for those federal grants, and so we do need to secure our PhD students as quickly as possible. Our MS priority deadline is January 15th, although again, the following 3 deadlines are available for master's students who are looking to join us for fall 2025. We do have rolling admission, which means that a student who has, it's not rolling admission in the sense a traditional rolling admission, but it is rolling admission in that we do not have a date that we publish admissions decisions. So when your application is submitted, as soon as it is complete, and that means all foreign credential evaluations are complete, your recommenders have submitted everything, and you have submitted everything, then we hope to turn around applications within 2 to 3 weeks, at least for our master's students. For PhD students, you may have a shorter or a longer timeline, as PhD is dependent on faculty and student alignment, research availability, funding availability, and other factors that come into play. So students who are PhD applicants should expect that their application could be reviewed very quickly, or in some cases it can take several months, and we just ask that you please remain patient. We are offering an application fee waiver for students who are interested in applying for either spring or fall. And I will give you a moment here to take a screenshot or write down the code. It is very specific, so you need to have capital letters where there's capital, lowercase where there's lowercase, and no spaces. And we require 2 letters of recommendation, your unofficial transcripts, statement of purpose, your resume. And again, if you're an international student, you may apply via your English language proficiency through IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo. We do not require the GRE, although if you report an unofficial GRE, we do require you to submit the official GRE as well. And here's the instructions on how to submit that application fee waiver code for prospective students. If you have already applied, we cannot retroactively apply this code to your application. And I encourage you to keep in touch. As everyone has mentioned on today's call, the department and the College of Engineering are here to support you throughout your journey. So whether you are a prospective student or an admitted student, we would love to hear from you. If you have application-specific questions, I encourage you to email a member of the admissions office at coe-gradadmissions@northeastern.edu. And as Caroline mentioned, we have an incredible team of student ambassadors that you can email coeambassadors@northeastern.edu, and Allison or another member of the grad ambassador team will get back to you. And whether you're interested in chatting about your interest in the bioengineering program, relocating to Portland or to Boston, or just anything that you may be interested in, if you're passionate about tennis or soccer and want to know how to get involved in different student organizations at Northeastern, our team does it all. They are incredible students, they're multifaceted, and we will be sure to connect you with the right student to support you throughout your journey. And with that, we will do a short Q&A. Okay, so lots of information, a lot of questions about the application fee waiver code, which we have put back in the chat. Maybe, Caroline, should we go back to that slide with the instructions? Yeah, perfect. Forward one more. Yeah, perfect. Just while we do the Q&A so that students can write down the information. Yep, so do UK transcripts need to be evaluated by a credential service? Yep, as Caroline mentioned, we do do the foreign credential evaluation, and the instructions are located both on the admissions page, but also through the application portal itself. And let's see, I have a BS in biology. Do I qualify for an MS in biology, bioengineering? Dr. Bellini?
Actually, maybe Sam is the best
Sure.
to answer that question.
Sure. Oops, Sam, you're muted.
We can talk about
Sorry,
both.
I missed the question here.
I have a BS in biology. Do I qualify for applying to the MS in bioengineering?
Yeah, so we don't exclude anyone from our program just off the bat. What we do is we examine what people's backgrounds are. A background in biology is certainly very helpful for bioengineering. We just want to make sure that people have sufficient typically math and quantitative background in order to be in our program. And so we're generally looking for multiple semesters of math, calculus, ideally a couple semesters of calculus, maybe linear algebra, differential equations would be very, very helpful. But we don't exclude anyone off the bat with any particular degree. But we do want to have people who are coming in prepared to take our courses.
And Dr. Chung, how about experience in coding specifically?
That would be helpful as well, although we do teach that along the way. So MATLAB coding, C, Python as well. So we have some plans for that. And currently, I don't think we have it's called a bridge program up and running yet, but we're looking to put that into place as well in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're hoping to have that up and running for the beginning of next year. And so these will be targeted to students who are interested in a Master of Science in Bioengineering, particularly in the device concentration, who do not come from an engineering background and could benefit from college level math and coding classes.
Wonderful. We have a student who's interested in the System Synthetic and Computational Bioengineering PhD program. Can we talk a little bit about the opportunities and if they need to have a potential supervisor in advance of the application? And then maybe also talk a little bit about the RU program.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for bringing up this question. We do not have it in the slide, but maybe we should. So the way that we do admissions is two-way. So the first way is that you find an advisor, or find a faculty you're interested in, you reach out to them, you have conversation before even submitting your applications, and then that advisor is interested in hiring you as what we call an RA, so a direct research assistant. That means that once you get here, you hit the ground running in that lab, and that is your match for the next 5 years or so. Some students love that aspects of being assigned to a lab from the get-go because they can be productive right away. Other students prefer a rotation system where you are admitted as either a teaching assistant or you have a fellowship. The fellowship do not have to help us with teaching, while teaching assistant do. And those students can have up to 2 rotations. So in the fall, they rotate in one lab, and they have the option of rotating in another lab in the spring. Sometimes they just do one rotation. They feel like they found their match, and we do not force them to take a second rotation if there is no need for it. And so the idea is that by the end of the spring semester, then you can declare an advisor and officially join a lab. What I repeat anytime when somebody asks me this question of which one is better, it really depends on you. We put a lot of effort in identifying the candidates, that the PhD students candidate that we really want to bring to Northeastern. And so if you're the only thing that is preventing you from accepting our offer is the type of offer, we can make arrangement or shift it from one to another to make sure that that you actually commit. And then the second part was related to the RU. Yeah, so the RU faculty is currently in the System Synthetic and Computational Bioengineering, and it will be for this round of applications. However, students that are matched with faculty at the RU will be starting their PhD and taking all the classes in Portland, Maine, and they are building an equally beautiful building up there, actually better because it's directly on the ocean, and I'm a little jealous about that. So check it out on Google Maps. Is definitely if the science is not sufficient, the location definitely will.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'll add that the graduate ambassadors have hosted a webinar on the best practices when applying to a PhD program. And so I do encourage you to go on the ambassador website, where you'll see a link to our YouTube page. And all of our videos are there, including the video on best practices when applying to a PhD, their tips and tricks, and some other exciting opportunities for our students. All right, let's see here. If I have an F1 visa, can I still apply? Unfortunately, the deadline has passed, including for students with an F1 visa, as there won't be enough time to review your application and transfer your I-20 into Northeastern University. Can I submit the unofficial IELTS score for review? For review, yes. In order to actually matriculate into Northeastern, we will need to have your official IELTS score. Is there a preference on Duolingo versus TOEFL exams? No, I will say that we've set the bar a little bit higher for Duolingo than we have for TOEFL. I'm from an English-speaking country. Is my proficiency waived? Only students who are from the eligible list, which is published on the GSE admissions page. So if you are either a citizen or have completed a degree in one of our eligible countries, then your proficiency is waived. Even if your institution is considered an English-speaking institution within a country that is not on our waived list, we cannot make an exception. And English proficiency is the one area where the Graduate School of Engineering will not move your application forward if you don't meet the English proficiency. So we do require that you have if you're from a country that requires an English proficiency exam, we do require that in order for the department to review your application. Okay. In light of the recent developments, I'm wondering about the specifics of health insurance plan provided for grad students. Yes, no changes to the existing coverage. We have a wonderful, it's called New Ship, and it is the health insurance for our graduate students. And for students who are joining us in either Portland or Boston, both are epicenters for the medicine, for the medical world. Of course, as Professor Bellini mentioned, we have a direct relationship with Maine Medical. And so, and Boston is, we have everywhere from the Brigham to the Dana-Farber to Beth Israel and some of the world's leading research hospitals. And so our students get excellent, excellent health insurance, and they are allowed to use it at, it's accepted at all of the major hospitals. If you are joining us within the United States, if you're a US citizen with your own private health insurance, you can opt to have the health insurance waived. But if you are an international student, we do not accept any international health insurance plans, so you will need to subscribe to New Ship. I've submitted my application. Can I still use the code? Unfortunately not. Let's see. Is the fee waiver applicable across other colleges? The fee waiver is specific to the College of Engineering, and so it is not applicable to any other programs that you may be applying to outside of the College of Engineering, but you can use it to apply to multiple programs within the College of Engineering. Can we talk a little bit about the support that's available through the form of TA or RA opportunities?
Yes, of course. And these is strictly referred to PhD students. Unfortunately, we do not fund our master's students through RAs or TAs. So an RA is, again, depends on your admission. An RA is when you are matched directly with an advisor, and that funding for your salary comes from the research funding, which can be external or internal. A TA, on the other side, is a teaching assistantship. That's what it stands for. And it means that when you are admitted, you are not matched directly with an advisor. You are a rotation, and the way that we support you is by asking you to help out as a TA in one of our courses. And we have developed this system over the past years to really make the best guess and the best match to your skills when we assign you to a class. And Caroline can speak more about that process that she really spearheaded. The salary is the same, obviously, for TA and RA. And this is really true for your first year. realistically, over the 5 years on average for that will take you to complete your degree, it will be a mix of RA and TA. Sometimes there are gaps in funding in the department. We're really proud to say that all our PhD students are always fully funded, and so the department will help providing TA offers and TA options. Or even if the advisor has funding, we may really need you to help us with a class, and so you're going to get a TA, which is a really good experience for a PhD students, no matter what you're planning on doing in the future, to have the experience of TAing a course throughout your tenure at Northeastern. The other thing they would like to add is that I always encourage all my students to apply for external fellowships. They're very prestigious. They're very good to have as line on your CV, and those fellowship usually covers your salary, give you a little bit of money for travel, and it's really a good experience to put down ideas on a page and have somebody external review it.
Wonderful. And we have time for one more question. There's a question about the co-op opportunities. Co-ops are 4, 6, or 8 months. Students are not required to participate in co-op, although many of our bioengineering students do. And it's a wonderful opportunity to enhance your degree by building onto your academics through industry opportunities. So that when you graduate, not only are you graduating with a master's or a PhD from Northeastern, but you're graduating from anywhere from 4 to 8 months of industry experience. It is not an internship. It is a true working position, paid 40 hours per week generally. And we encourage all of our students to, again, visit the YouTube page off of our Student Ambassador site, explore a little bit more about the co-op engineering webinars that we've hosted, and hear directly from Lorraine Mountain, who is the Assistant Dean of Co-op programs here within the College of Engineering. And with that, I'm going to end today's session. I want to say a very warm thank you to Dr. Bellini, Dr. Chung, and Caroline for joining us today for this wonderful information session. And thank you to everyone who has joined us. And whether you're prospective or admitted, we are so grateful for your interest in Northeastern and look forward to supporting you on your journey to a master's or a PhD. Have a great day, everyone.